I promise you, somebody opened a store in Ghana, right? And then they were selling perfumes, bags, shoes, like all these things, right? And say,
Yeah.
nah, so girl, we try video of and the two Atari me store. Like she'll go with too close to the store. She'll wait and take a video of how the things are going. Then she'll change and wear the other dress and take a video. You see, the store is closed. Nothing is
Hey.
happening. But oh, and how's the store running today? Then they'll send the other video of the other dress that she was wearing. It's
Yeah.
like people.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. We have another video for you. We're excited that you guys are supporting, liking, sharing, subscribing. Today is not an interview. Today is a conversation, right? We are changing the style a little bit. My name is Isaac. This is
Bright.
right, and we have a guest, a friend of ours, Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
Hi, Bright. Hi, Isaac.
Will you introduce yourself quickly before we go into the
Hi,
video?
my name is Elsie. Nice meeting all the people that follow the Gongsman on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we are talking about remittances, right? This is a tricky topic, right? It's
As a more money fee.
well, so on social media we've been seeing a couple. This video came about because Bright and I saw a video on social media where this lady was lamenting about sending money home, sometimes the dynamics, family, all of that stuff. So we thought, okay, maybe we'll do a video on remittances, being African migrants in the diaspora, and talk about the whole remittance conversation. Okay, so we're going to go straight into it. Pedro, what did you make of people complaining about sending money home? Sometimes their complaints border on the fact that maybe they are not doing as well here, they are facing some pressure to send money home. Sometimes you feel like people are entitled to money that when they send money, there's a certain sense of entitlement and all of that. What do you make of people begging?
Yeah. I see. I understand people's frustration and complaints about the process, right? But one thing I would say is, Charlie, just send what you can comfortably send. A good person in my life actually advised me that see, people are living their lives and they are fine with or without you.
Yeah.
You get it. So when they reach out for help, if you can help them, yeah, just do it, right? If you can't, now I say, oh yeah, because you want to impress or you want to do this and that. Now, if I don't go to so they be rich in Chinga, then you come and complain, right? So yeah, like I said, I know it's, some people. So if you're sending money to folks that you ask yourself, what is this money really for, right?
Yeah.
Are they in a critical need? Is somebody sick? Has grandmother swallowed a knife that we need to take?
Yeah, grandmother swallowed the knife. This is the third time we have said it.
Guy, see, sometimes you are just minding your business, so, and then you get called 2 a.m., right? So first, just assess that, this money that you're sending, right? What is it really going to be used for?
Yeah.
Now, I know this may not be everybody's position, but if you don't feel like this is something that, one, you can afford to do it, and two, if you don't think this is something that is necessary, have some respect for your own hard-earned money, right? Because with the command, then you come and complain. In the end, nobody is happy. So yeah, that's my overall response to those who complain.
Elsie, how about you? What do you think?
I think sending money is not the problem, right? I
Hey.
think that, no, don't get me wrong. But I think sending money is not the problem. The problem is, what I'm seeing here is every culture, it doesn't matter if you live in the US, because you can have people living in the US who have traveled to the UK and they have to send money to their families back in the US, right? So every culture really sends money back home, regardless of the situation. But it's for me as an African, it's the entitlements that people attach to the money that they are requesting, right? It's like, if you don't do it, then you're a bad person. If you don't do it, so you're sitting on this gold pot and you have to send the money home. But for me, there's not an issue in sending money back home, whether it's to help the sick, whether it's to help in the project, or whatever the situation may be. It's really the entitlement or the kind of force that is attached to, like, you have to do it. It's a do or die affair. If you don't do it, then Yeah. So I really don't see the issue. But as a human being, it gets annoying when you feel like somebody's entitled to your hard-earned cash or your hard-earned, like, okay, I'm going to work, it's cold, it's this. You don't even know if I've paid all my bills. And even if I have some savings, you're not aware of all these things, but you have this entitlement, like I have to ask because I'm in need. That's the part that gets annoying.
But you were going to say something.
No, the entitlement part really got to me. So if you are in need, then you have to ask. I mean, there isn't much wrong with that, right? I mean, we've all perhaps been in situations where we are a little desperate, right? We need some help and we reach out. But to think you are entitled to my money, dear, no, you are not. See, one way I look at it is this: if you ask me for money, right, one of a few things can happen, right? If I genuinely can't afford to give it to you, or if I don't give it to you, even though maybe I could afford it, maybe whatever relationship we have could take a hit, right? And I think that's one issue that people here have, right? Oh, I am a damn fool, and also in Pixabay this so on.
Yeah.
Now, if I also give you the money, and usually people come in asking for loans, right?
Yes.
A few times now, personally, I've had friends show up like, oh, Chairman, now Christmas.
Now, my boy is really with you.
Exactly, stuff like that. But then usually people will come in and like, oh, could you give me some loan, right?
Yeah.
I'm in this, situation, blah blah blah. If I give you the loan, and from the experiences I have, right, I know that more often than not, the loan will not be paid back.
Yeah.
What I say. Yeah. If you don't pay the loan, and I even reach out trying to find out what's happening, again, from my experiences, the relationship just goes underwater, right? To the point where people even will block you.
Hey.
What I say. Yeah, I mean,
someone has blocked you before.
Charlie, they blocked me.
Your own money, the person
my
blocked
own
you.
money, yeah, them blocked me. So yeah, it's really so the point I'm making is that the person asking for the money should recognize that, okay, depending on how things go, it's more likely that they are putting the whole relationship in some kind of jeopardy, right? But usually the person on that side, no, they just think, say, oh, bugger there. I mean, what is $500? What is this? What is that?
$500. What is $500?
Let me tell you something. Stories about, I know someone who sends money to a friend. The person asked for a loan, and that's the part that annoys me. Like the person will come and say it's a loan, and then we know that you are supposed to pay because it's a loan. Then the person starts assuming that because maybe you live abroad, they do the conversion, the city is going up now, they have done the conversion. Okay, so the person gave the loan. Then they went back and forth. It's like, time has come, you haven't paid me the money, blah blah blah. So the person in the US ended up going to the US, right? And called a friend actually. Yeah, ended up going to Ghana. Yeah. Okay. And the person was like, yo, it's Ghana with the man, no, you say the Baba Ghana. Odipa say, oh, Charlie, it's carrying the area with me mountain. Medua me and say me cake. What about Christmas? The make a crack, make cake. It's you cake, they do like what do you call it? Cake worth that amount of money I gave you, or you are giving me money, just some cake as.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, how can you just do that? And then that relationship just went down.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, because normally when somebody asks for money, they are putting your relationship at risk, right? Because like Elsie said, over here you have your own hustles, right? You have bills to pay. America is not like, I was telling somebody, it's not like Ghana where, rent to cry, you can tell the landlord that, give me some time, next month, next 2 months. I mean, landlord will come make noise, but you go there, right? Yeah. But over here, you start getting notices. You could easily become homeless. So not only do you have to work hard and make money, you also have to take good care of your money. You get it.
Anyway.
Now, another direction is if you have we have a ton of friends, right? Who are in Ghana, right? So maybe to one person, if I ask you to send me maybe $100, it's not a big deal like that. Yeah. But when all those people start hitting you, within a month, Okay, Convo, that's a lot of
Boy,
money. So I think sending money overall, again, going back to Elsie's point, I don't think it's a big problem, right? After all, the statistics show that we send about 2% of our salaries, right?
Master, 2%. I've told you that it's contestable because I looked up the...
How much do you send?
Hey,
no, what I'm saying is that they're sending money to help
I
family, friends who are in need. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's part of being human, right? But then it's the what is what makes it very annoying.
Okay, so let's go to what do you typically, the three of us, what do you typically send money home for? Me, most of the time is like, family, helping out, nuclear family and all of that. Maybe sometimes at this age where you are earning small, you want to buy some small land.
Hey, you are earning small.
That's me. You have to buy some so that when maybe you go to Ghana, you can build some small, those ones, and then maybe some business ventures and all of that. When you're somebody that you trust is doing something that you think you can put money into, maybe a loan arrangement so that you can make something.
Right.
That's my perspective.
Waiting on Elsie.
So typically, I used to send money. I still send money for family. Like, I think that's the nutshell of why every African will send money. Like, first thing is family, and then you start looking at friends, and then you start looking at like business or something, or business and then friends. So for me, when I started sending money home, it was basically for family. And my family is maybe my parents, and even with my parents, it has to be like not the knife down your throat kind of like health and then monthly allowance or something, right? Because then I was also starting my life. But when the Lord was graceful and gracious unto me, it became more like not just when they were sick or like the monthly stuff was like, okay, maybe I don't want you to work. Maybe you should do this. You know what I mean? So you send money for family and then business venture just to test the waters, but not like send a huge amount of money like let's do this. But I'll for business ventures was mostly to support my friend's business where I can have a stake in it that it belongs to me, because I won't be there to look after the business. But if they already have something going, I can like support it, and then I can say, you know what, I have a stake in this business. Let's draft something up. But where the business is mine and someone is looking after it, I really have trust issues on that level, and that's not gonna be me. I mean, not really. Not like BBF. I mean, like the thing is, statistically, and numbers don't lie, right? People have gone through the route of sending money for their business, even building, and then right, and then they end up going to not even miss the land. Like, it's like so they didn't get the land, they didn't even get the house, right? People just spent their monies and then also use it for their personal projects. So for me, it's more like, if I'm going to invest in a business, it has to be a business that's already thriving, like, or a business that somebody has majority of the stake in, right? So that if it falls, it hits you more than it hits me, because then you are on the ground, boots on ground, and you're seeing everything for yourself. But if I were to live in Ghana, right, then that's a totally different ballgame. But I don't live there. So if I'm investing in a business, majority of the stake has to belong to somebody. And then, when the fall comes, I know what amount I can accommodate.
Right.
But what they say, you send money for fencing, roads, and build
roads. Hey, let's road from my village house to
build road.
Oh no, we are not there yet. But yeah, like you guys, I send money, family support, right? So first and foremost, family has been there for you, so why not, right?
Definitely.
And then sometimes a few friends, right? So my approach to this is, whatever the friend is doing, I just look at it. Okay, how important is this, right? Because it's really, I'm less worried about.
Me too.
When you finish. No, when you finish. No, that's very well. When you finish.
Okay, anyway, so for me, like I said earlier, it's more of what are you using this money for, right? Because I whenever I'm sending them money, I'm looking at Charlie. I had to work for like this many hours, so my main home question, right? But if let's say the person, there is like a medical emergency, right, or somebody like education, like something that I feel okay, this is pretty important, right? Then I will help, and even with that help, I try to do what I'm most comfortable with.
Yeah.
So even if you say it's a loan and you don't pay back, it's not a big deal like that, right?
Yeah.
So there are these two, and then testing the waters with business as well, see how that might go. But like we pointed out, do you have folks that you trust, right, to run these businesses? And I think that's very critical. So along those 3 lines, I would say.
Okay, else to go with your question and I'll go with
whilst he was talking, he kind of answered it, because for me, I was going to ask him, how do you know how important it is for somebody to ask you money, right? It's like, I would rather give what I know would not affect me, right? I'll give you ask me for $500. I know you cannot give me $500 back, right? So if I have $50, $100, $150, there has to be a cap to how much I can help. And so it doesn't matter how much you ask me, no matter what, that's the cap that I've put on the help. It's called the help cap. That's where it ends. Right? That's where it ends. It's different if it's a business that I have a stake in, then I know that I'm supporting differently. But if it's like a friend, just like I have a friend that used to hit me up always on Instagram. I never gave my personal number to this person till date. You ask me, so you still don't have a WhatsApp number? I'll be like, no, I'm studying, so I'm just using Instagram. And I do have a WhatsApp number, but I know that if they have that direct contact to me, if I mean to me, because on Instagram, they'll blow you up like, a lot of times. So I was just going to ask him, like, how do you know how important it is, like the need the person has for you to be able to satisfy? But I think he answered it whilst he was talking. So
okay. So since he has answered it, you and I, right, we have a financial arrangement, right? And when we're getting into it, I think I asked you a lot of questions. You even have to send me a spreadsheet of projections and all of that stuff. Now, when the two of you, if you are investing money in somebody's business, person is back home in Ghana, do you think that like when you ask questions to a certain point, the person feels like, do you get that sense? You're asking too many questions for some small money that you are giving me. Do you get that sense?
That we are prudent. Like, we work hard for the money, and it's not really about the hours that you even put in. That counts a lot, but it's more on when I get the money that I get, I have done my analysis and like investments, like my calculating that what is going to do, right? And so if you want me to invest in something back home, I would want numbers. Like, I would want to know, okay, have you done all your cost benefits analysis? Have you looked at some of the failure points of this business to see? No, the thing is, I would want to know, because knowing these things will not tell me whether I should invest or not. For me, it will direct how much I should invest the first time, so that I don't lose everything. That's what I'm saying. There's always a cap to every amount that I want to set, right? Because if I'm investing in your business and you share some numbers with me, but you didn't share the full picture, that I think, okay, most of my friends know this about me. Like, you can't just come to me and say, oh, just give me this amount of money because I'm starting a business. I want to know, okay, have you tested this business? How much how much have you put in there? And how much have you lost? How much have you gained in the span of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? 1 year? I want to know.
Good thing I came to you,
No, I want to know.
But even you and I was anyway going.
Like, I want to know, because I want to know if you're able to share these numbers with me, and how you share it with me shows that you are really invested in the business. So that someone else is going to put the money in there. Like, say if how it will feel for the person. Most of the time when people come and they're looking for money from you from Ghana, they haven't done their anything.
Like, the analysis is not.
They haven't done it. So they feel like mimi va misika nko shame, mami nko pen nko form dom sika shame, so they share and shame. No, me, I want it to see you. So I want you to be able to tell me the numbers. Regardless, if I want to put money in there, I would, but it would inform how much I put in there. I would always want you to have much more stake in the business than me. Because guess what? If it doesn't work out, whatever I put in there, it was my cut.
Right.
But because you put in a lot, you would want to make sure the business wouldn't fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's
so that's just me. You have to do this. So if it's my business, then I'm moving back to make sure that I'm building it from ground up, because the kind of business I want to do in Ghana, I would have to be there. It's not something that I can trust somebody to do for me. The money, they go chop the money.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the time, so to Elsie's point of, putting in enough, I totally agree and I understand that. But I also recognize that somebody in Ghana may have a brilliant idea, right? But they may not have the financial, if they are just doing hand to mouth and they're trying to break out of this 9 to 5 in Ghana. I recognize that it could be tough, right, for them to have money. But, having said that, a lot of the time people come with you with, oh, trust me, bro, kind of idea.
Trust me, bro.
This idea, oh, trust me, it's going to, it's going to work, it's going to this, it's going to that. I can't even tell you like how many times I've had people, say, oh, I have a business idea I want us to discuss. I'm like, cool. I don't know if I go around giving business vibes, but people, they always reach out. And then I'm like, okay, so what is the idea? Like, how do you hope, what is the real need that you're trying to satisfy, right? How do you hope to make money out of this? How much money are we even talking? Let's say we are most successful, like we are very, very successful with this business. What does it look like? Are we talking 1,000 Ghana cedis? Because you'll be shocked. Sometimes somebody comes with you with an idea and it's like the best case scenario is just a few thousands,
Maybe
a
thousand, yeah.
Maybe given where they are at, if they are making 5,000, they are like, oh, this is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So, and this, I don't think it's just our friends. I think across the country, hopefully it's not at the levels where things are very, very critical, like policy making and stuff like that, right? But I feel like we don't do any sophisticated analysis of idea where I'm a SMEA, right? This is how much, I expect to make, and this is how I'm going to make it, right? Yeah, you mentioned that I came to you with spreadsheets and stuff, right? Because I even needed to convince myself.
You had it, yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to put money into it, right? So I needed to convince myself that this was worth doing.
Yeah.
You get it? So I would really, I don't know how many people will see this, but please, if you're reaching out to anybody with a business idea, if you have some financial, backing, that's great. To Elsie's point, you have some skin in the game, right? But if you don't have skin in the game, at least make sure you've done your due diligence, you've done the background work to really know that, okay, this opportunity is this is how we're going to make money, and this is why it's worth it. If not, we'll just talk, and then last, we'll just move on.
So one thing that you guys have expressed is that there are some businesses that you need to be there. At least Elsie did express that, like you need to be on the ground, right? And then there are some businesses that you feel like, okay, maybe if I'm not there, it can still thrive. And what are some of those like business ideas that you've heard that you think, okay, maybe this one, I need to be there, otherwise, Charlie. And then what are some of the ones that you heard that are like, okay, let's see how it goes, and maybe
Charlie, almost every business in Ghana is like, if I need to be there, let's go on, Elsie.
So let me give you an idea. To not mention any particular business, right? But I'll give you an idea. So there was a time when I was gathering a couple of friends, and everybody's bringing money in the US, right? So the whole idea is to build something. It could be a processing firm, it could be a hospital, mobile hospital, or whatever, in different parts of Ghana. So like, this is huge sums of money from different people. Such a job, mind you, if I'm asking you to give me money, means that one, I have the knowledge. So when I was saying that the people have to have a stake, the stake is not just you putting money in this. Stake is knowing the business too. Like, I tell you, I'm building a processing plant and I know nothing about manufacturing. Like, don't trust me, please, because I have book knowledge, right? So I was doing all these things, and it's something that I'm still doing. I just know that when it's time to move and go, I cannot just get all these monies because these people just trust that I have them. First of all, they trust to give me this money, or they trust that they want to give me this money because they know that I have the knowledge in finance, economics, supply chain, manufacturing, engineering. So when I'm meeting these people, and technology, of course. So when I'm meeting these people, I'm meeting you with this knowledge, right? And I'm meeting you with different people that are going to help build this. And I tell you, but I'm going to give it to somebody in Ghana to do it. How serious are you going to take me, right? You want to make sure that, okay, Elsie is going to be boots on ground, or the team is going to be boots on ground, and Elsie goes in maybe quarterly to review it. And Elsie's team, they have the knowledge. So businesses like that, where you are taking money from people, they want to make sure that somebody on the team or people on the team are over there and they can attest to it's going very well. And to his point, every business really in Ghana, even if it's buying and selling, like you can send things from here and send it to Ghana for somebody to sell. Sometimes you just want to swing by and say, okay, so no, or maybe now while you're recording, I promise you, somebody opened a store in Ghana, right? And then they were selling perfumes, bags, shoes, like all these things, right? And now, so girl, we try video of, and the two Atari store, like she'll go with too close to the store. She'll wait and take a video of how the things are going. Then she'll change and wear the other dress and take a video. You see, the store is closed. Nothing is happening, but and how's the store running today? Then they'll send the other video of the other dress that she was wearing. You know, it's like people also, they know they're working for you, and the money is, you're just paying them maybe monthly salary, right? They also have things that they want to do for themselves. So they'll also want to invest you're paying them at the end of the month, but they're investing the time for your business in their own personal stuff, right? So the trust is not there. The time for them to even invest in your business to grow, knowing that they can have a stake or, expand and do other things for themselves, it's not even there. So every business really at this point in Ghana, if you are really sending money back home for it to work, I think there has to be some level of trust and like going to see if the business is really, because
I mean,
go ahead, and I'll ask maybe a last question and then we can wrap it up.
I think so she touched on some core things like trust, right? And then dedication from the staff who are working there, right? I don't know, personally, trust is important, definitely, but I try to minimize my reliance on trust. Here's how I mean. So I think about, okay, if I'm putting money into this business, what processes can I put in place, right? So that trust doesn't become the main thing I need for this business to thrive. If I have to invest in any business where trust is the main thing, I'm not going to invest in it. It's as simple as that. So, you can build like some processes, like, one of the businesses that we're doing, right? We have sort of like a 360 view of, when procurement, we get raw materials, processes go through to the point where when money hits the bank, right? So that way, I don't need to be there. And we can monitor these things like on a day-to-day basis, right? So even when things start going south, we know right away that, yesterday something went south and we can intervene right away. So, but of course, that is hard. And that is not to say you don't need trust. Trust is absolutely important. I think that the people leading the business is critical. Right. So, you want to have somebody.
You just can't do away with the human capital.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So what I'm saying is that it's a multifaceted thing. In a country like Ghana, where unfortunately at this point, people go to work, the overall attitude is always like they are doing you a favor. They don't look at it as a job, right? My life depends on this. And if I do well, the business will do well and I'll get paid more, right? Like this thinking of, okay, I have to do well and progress, it's unfortunately not there yet. So people come to see, I can't even tell you some of the things I've seen. People come to work and they are thinking about or doing, it has nothing to do with the business. So yeah, trust, for me, my position on it is, if you come to me with any business idea and trust is the fundamental thing, I'm out. It's as simple as that for me.
Last question. How is the current state of the economy? Why you laugh? Let me finish the question.
Okay,
how is it informing whether you invest in something or not? Like, because that's also a big part, right? If you look at the way things are going, somebody tells you a business idea, are you hesitant to even consider it just because of the way things are going and all of that?
Yeah,
Maybe you
absolutely.
can go, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe, yeah. Okay, anyways, that, see, business is about economics, right? And you are doing all of that in the economy. So if the economy itself is not doing well or it's not positioned properly, you are taking a huge risk. And a case in point is, imagine you're sending maybe thousands of dollars, right, to invest in a business. The business is obviously getting revenues in Ghana cedis, right? And then the currency gets cut, and the exchange rate just takes
The
a 100-meter
fundamentals.
race, right? So you didn't do anything wrong,
Yeah.
right? You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. Overnight, almost overnight, you have lost like 50% of your investment. You get it? Yeah. So it is huge, definitely huge, and it's a risk that if you are abroad and you want to invest in Ghana, you would want to manage it somehow, right? Like, let's say you take some foreign exchange positions on a short-term basis, right, so that you don't get exposed to the huge swings. And Charlie, fuel, you will buy fuel, doomsday will affect you depending on what kind of business you're doing, right? So, I mean, I'm hoping that the economy would do better. Rebound. That's what we all hope for. But it's a huge risk that you need to carefully manage.
Yeah. Anyway, Elsie, what's your take on that?
I mean, I agree with him. Just doing business anywhere is a huge risk, right? You just have to cut your coat according to your cloth or size. And there are certain things that are intrinsic and extrinsic. Like, there are things that you cannot control. And for those things that you can't control, like, I mean, you just let it be. And the things that you work on, the things that if you want to invest back home, work on the things that you can control. I always say that the part I can control is the human part. The parts I cannot control, like what the economy is doing because of leadership or whatever, I don't focus so much on it, but I focus on how can I make the human part of it better? How can I make the technology part of the business better? Like, these are things that I can control, right? I can say, well, you're not helping my business, go and bring somebody in. I can say, okay, with this technology, it's going to boost this. Right? Those things I would work on. Like, anybody who is trying to invest in Ghana, work on the things that you can definitely control. But when it comes to things that you can't control, then also make sure that your business is working in a way where you have buffer, so those things don't really affect the business in the long term, right? There should always be buffer. There should always be the focus on the things that you can control. So in any case, if the economy is fooling a little bit, guess what? You have that buffer. Yeah, because those are things you can't change. Even in the US, like, come on now, like, you guys, let's be very realistic. Inflation, like, we also are suffering a little bit, right? But
no, the way you said it.
You always have something that that this is what I can control. This is what I cannot control. This is the buffer I've put in place so that the inflation doesn't really affect me that much, right?
Yeah.
See, when inflation is over 50%,
50% in
the economy. Yeah. So yes, I mean, I guess the long and short of it is that I think a first step in, perhaps the actuaries can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a good step in risk management is even knowing what risk not to take. Right? Yeah. So definitely pay attention to that.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. It has been a great conversation, Charlie, guys. I think we need. I have some other things that are coming to my mind because of this conversation. We probably need to get together and talk about those things in another video. But everybody, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and you found
I
it.
have something to say before you go. Like,
yes,
if it takes, like, in sending money back home, and this is general with finance, right? It takes financial maturity to be a giver, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you want to give somebody, and I always say this, whenever you want to give something to somebody, you always ask yourself, how many of all the people you have given money to, how many of them have you brought out of poverty? Right? If you've not been able to bring them out of poverty, then know that the money that you are sending is not what's going to really help them. It's not the money that you send to them that would change something, or
they are fine without you.
Yeah, they are fine without you.
This is your topic. Go ahead.
They are fine without you. But of course, mind you, I said that it takes maturity to be a giver. It means that you can give, but really the person you're bringing out, the people that you think you're helping out of a certain situation, did you really bring them out of that situation, right? And I say this because the Bible says in Psalms that when you give people knowledge, right, where there's a lot of wealth, you look at this, where you find a lot of wealthy people having a meeting, and you go there because you think you are just focused on the money you're going to get from them. You end up not getting the money, and you end up leaving the place because the focus you went there with was wrong. But where you go to that group, what you seek most is knowledge. When you get out of that place with knowledge, you've gotten out of the place with a lot of wealth. All I'm saying is when people come to you and they're asking for money, sometimes it's not really the money they need, because when you give them that money, they will still be poor. They will not be rich, right? So maybe give them something else, or align their minds towards the thought of, some ideas.
After you have given them the money,
you give them the money first.
No, again, it's up to you, right? You can give them and ask yourself, really sit down and ask yourself that question. And this is in general to your viewers, and ask yourself, of all the monies I've given to this same person or these same persons, how many of them have I really made rich or taken out of poverty?
Okay, this one there is a topic that is part of the topics that we have to discuss at some other point. But
the long and short is more money fear,
more money fear,
have a car.
Have a helper.
Have a car.
Yeah, I guess wrap up with this again. The statistic I alluded to: 2% of remittances. Folks abroad, they spend about 2% of their, on average. Yeah, I recommend inside. I also send 2.2.
Like, right, share,
we have to come and talk about black tax.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we'll do a follow-up about what if there have been arguments where what if we, instead of sending 2%, right, we send 10%, with the 8% going into critical investment, right?
Okay. Yes.
So it's a question of like, how can entrepreneurs, policymakers, leaders position the institutions in our countries, right? Or even the processes, or like I said, how can folks like us innovate, for instance, right?
Yes.
To ensure that somebody will be comfortable sending that 8% to you, right? Imagine like if, let's say, a lot of the malls in Ghana, Accra, and all these places are owned by Ghanaians, fully owned by Ghanaians, right? Through some kind of remittance like bump up. So maybe we'll do another episode on stuff like that. Right now, trust is the fundamental thing. And like I said, personally, I don't think that's it should be the main thing. So yeah. Now you can close out.
You present 30 minutes. Anyway,
it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Again, like, share, subscribe. We're going to bring you even more, interesting topics. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Elsie. Thanks, Brian. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. All right.